Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please welcome our host, Emmy Award-winning anchor at NBC4, Sean Yancey.
Good morning. Okay, look, I'm not a morning person. You guys can do better than that. Good morning. Okay, I like to do this to get everybody fired up. See, I don't even get home from work until midnight. You guys are up. I assume some of you are morning people, so you can do... Wait, is it not morning anymore? Maybe you didn't say morning because it's afternoon. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. Let me start with this side of the room. Good afternoon. Okay, middle of the room. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Oh, you guys are better. This side of the room, I'm counting on y'all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. Okay, now that I know what time of day it is, and we are all on the same page, I am thrilled to be here with you today on this gorgeous Friday in our nation's capital. No snow, no rain, and it's not too hot today, so it's pretty good. Let's start off by acknowledging the men and the women of our DC Fire and EMS department who put their lives on the line for us daily. Please put your hands together to thank them and the honor guard who are representing them today. We also want to recognize Everly Boyce, a senior Girl Scout from troop number 42133 and a 9th grader at the lab school. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, let's celebrate that amazing baritone, Tondo Mamba. He is a K. Fritz Young artist with the Washington National Opera. Thank you guys, you were wonderful. For nearly 25 years, I have been blessed to call the Washington, D.C. area home. I've had the opportunity to meet many of you, talk with many of you, laugh with some of you, cry with some of you, but most importantly, share your stories, and I thank you for that. I thank you for welcoming me into your kitchens, your living rooms, your bedrooms, your bathrooms, wherever you guys are watching TV from morning to night. Thank you for letting me do that every day on NBC4. You know, our motto is working for you, so thank you. I appreciate that. I am beyond thrilled to be here with you today as your MC for this very special event. Our gathering today recalls how the course of history changed 164 years ago with the passage of the DC Compensated Emancipation Act. It's a reminder to our nation that the work of emancipation is not finished until the citizens of Washington, D.C. have full participation in our democracy. Our gathering also commemorates America 250, the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And of course, all of you history buffs here in the room know that while America was founded in 1776, Washington, D.C. was not founded until 1790. So that makes us a little bit younger. We're 236 years old this year. DC250, though, is about celebrating the history of our nation since its founding. Throughout our program today, we will be highlighting some of the unique ways the district shaped America 250 history as a leader in city planning and architecture and emancipation and civil rights. I ask that while you're seated that you turn your attention to the screens on either side of the room to watch these first videos.
Our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, is renowned for signing the Emancipation Proclamation, an 1863 order that freed enslaved blacks in Confederate states. But 8 months earlier, on April 16, 1862, Lincoln first experimented with this idea when he signed the D.C. Emancipation Act. Of course, the real protagonists in this story were the enslaved Southerners, who, as Union soldiers, swept across the South, fled their plantations, flooding into Washington, D.C. These courageous runaways forced Lincoln to support emancipation, and they made Washington, D.C. a leader in the fight for emancipation. D.C. emancipation became Lincoln's great experiment. His order included funds to compensate D.C. enslavers for the loss of their property and to retain their loyalty. A record of these transactions is preserved in historic ledger books. As emancipation was rolled out nationally, no other enslavers received compensation. The national rollout also hit major snags in the rebellious states, as holders of the enslaved withheld the news to suit their own interests. Full emancipation would not be realized until 1865. By that time, Washingtonians were commemorating 3 years of their emancipation. Since 2005, D.C. Emancipation Day has been a public legal holiday and special day of remembrance.
Please welcome to the podium the Secretary of State of the District of Columbia, Kimberly Bassett.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this important occasion. We're honored to bring together leaders from across our community. Today we mark DC's year-long celebration of America 250 and reflect on DC emancipation. 2 milestones that speak to our history and our continued commitment to full democracy in the District of Columbia. I'd like to especially thank the DC250 Commission, who's sitting right over there. Thank you. Led by Lindsay Parker, our senior advisor. Yes. I'd also like to thank the DC Emancipation Commission, who is also here, who's worked with us over the years. Thank you so much for all that you do. I also want to thank Mayor Bowser for her incredible leadership. For 11 years, yes, Mayor Bowser has guided this city with clarity, strength, and vision, and I'm so proud to serve in her administration alongside with every district employee. To all the incredible leaders in this room today, which there are many, Thank you for what you do. Your leadership shapes the district every single day. You're the ones strengthening our neighborhoods, supporting our residents, helping to move DC forward. This day works because of you. Your commitment and your belief in this city makes everything possible. So thank you. This gathering is rooted in the legacy of DC Emancipation. As we just saw in the video, Washington, D.C. was the first to abolish slavery. Over 3,000 enslaved people were freed more than 8 months before the Emancipation Proclamation. That moment affirmed the fundamental truth that freedom and democracy must extend to everyone. Today, that legacy calls on us advancing equity, representation, and the opportunity for all district residents. It's especially meaningful to gather here as we commemorate America's 250th anniversary this year. There's a deep sense of pride that comes with being the nation's capital. Every day we live, we work at the center of American democracy. The institutions, the history, the people, the progress, it all converges right here. But pride also comes with responsibility. Washington, D.C. continues to stand for full democracy. We know what it means to contribute fully to this country, and we know what it means to continue fighting for equal representation. As we mark 250 years of American democracy, we also reaffirm commitment to DC statehood and to the principle that 700,000 residents deserve the same voice and rights as every other American. Yes. Friends, the work of 51 continues. Beyond the monuments and the federal buildings, D.C. is one of the most vibrant places to live in the country. Our neighborhoods are alive with culture and small business, history and community. From Anacostia to Tinleytown, from Brooklyn to Southwest, this city reflects the diversity and energy of the people who call it home. There is a strong sense of belonging here, and it shows how we support one another. I'm not a native of Washington, but since I moved here 27 years ago, DC has been my heart. This city has embraced me. It's welcomed me into its communities, its public service, and its shared purpose. That's what makes Washington, D.C. so special, that people like me come from everywhere and we become a part of something bigger than ourselves. So before I close, allow me to thank my team for their incredible work in organizing this event, along with, again, Senior Advisor Lindsay Parker and Deputy Chief of Staff Steve Walker for your support. Thank you. I want to end, and a lot of you know, in the Bowser administration, we have a tagline, "We are DC." I have to do it. And I invite you to say it with me. We are DC. Can I get all of you to say it loud and proud on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. We are DC. I love it. Thank you. The work of 51 continues. So now it's my pleasure to welcome on the stage the chairman of our city council, Phil Mendelson. Thank you so much, and thanks for being here.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. Before I begin any remarks, I want to acknowledge at least one colleague, Matt Fruman, who's here. Are there any other council members who are present at the moment? Earlier this week, I paid my federal income taxes. I hope you all paid your federal income taxes. Just in case you want to know, DC surpasses all of the states in federal taxes per capita. We are a donor state, that is, that in terms of overall revenue, we donate more to the federal government than the federal government gives back to us through its different programs. And we rank behind a lot of states in terms of federal payment. Over the years, the federal payment that we get, discretionary money, has become but a fraction, like 1 or 2% of our budget. There are many states that receive far more in discretionary federal payments than the District of Columbia does. And why do I say all this? Because for me, Emancipation Day is a day to reflect on statehood and the need for statehood. And the last 12 months has been a new lesson in our need to have statehood. New lessons such as the National Guard. Unlike other states, the president can do things in the district with the National Guard that he can't do elsewhere. Or his attempted takeover of the police department last year. Or Congress screwing up the continuing resolution and denying us not our money. They didn't steal our money. They just denied us the authority to spend $1 billion last year. Or their attempt this year to blow up our tax filing season. Or the 15 bills that have come out of the House Oversight Committee in the past 6 or 7 months, such as repealing our police accountability law, or authorizing the U.S. Attorney to prosecute 14-year-olds as adults, or changing the congressional review from 30 days to 60 days. These are all proposals that have come out of the House Oversight Committee. At the hearing that the mayor and I testified at, the chairman talked about how the hearing was going to be a conversation. It was anything but a conversation. They've had no hearings. They really don't care about the substance, just about beating up on the district. If we were a state, Congress could not use us as a petri dish or for questionable talking points in campaigns. And I say questionable because I really question whether they're effective in campaigns in other districts. But Congress sees that opportunity with the district. I will note on this date that the Founding Fathers, if you go through the Federalist Papers, you will see no discussion in there about disenfranchising the residents of the federal district. They simply wanted a capital, a nation's capital, that was independent of the 13 sovereign states. A few years ago, I visited Mexico City, and why do I mention that? Because at the time, it was a little bit more than 3 or 4 years ago, they were going through a process where their federal district, Mexico City, the national capital of Mexico, the federal district was going through a process of achieving statehood. They could do it in Mexico. We need to do it here in the United States. We are now the only country in the free world where the nation's capital has no representation in the national legislature. So again, I think of Emancipation Day as being a day to reflect on the need and the fight for statehood. And just before I part, I just want to acknowledge, because she's right here in front of me, Eleanor Holmes Norton, who's been our warrior on the Hill. All these years fighting for us for statehood. Hopefully we get it. Too bad that we can't get it on your watch, but that is our goal. Thank you so much.
From its inception, Washington has attracted and fostered architecture and design that evokes the power and importance of the nation. Launched with the classical White House and U.S. Capitol, the city developed slowly until the end of the 1800s, when, like many American cities, it became run down and congested. Inspired by the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, where leading architects illustrated a new City Beautiful movement, Congress created a commission to improve the district. The commission redesigned the National Mall and designated a 70-acre federal triangle for new government offices. It also called for additional monumental buildings and parks around the city. Soon, the commission replaced many decayed buildings with new, elegant limestone buildings based on those seen in European capitals. Taken together, the remade Center City signified America's arrival on the international stage. The first example built was Union Station, followed soon after by today's John A. Wilson Building. While individual City Beautiful buildings can be found in cities around the nation, by 1938, when most of the Federal Triangle was complete, Washington had realized its promise as a design model for the world. The elegant structures, modest building heights, and human scale of the Federal Triangle stands today as the nation's largest great public project, combining classical architecture and sculpture. All of Washington's monumental architecture welcomes Americans and people of the world to reflect on the achievements of the nation and the ongoing promise of liberty and government by and for the people.
What a blessing to live somewhere with so much history. We also want to say a thank you to Chairman Mendelson and Secretary Bassett. All right, we've got a little good news to report. I know you've already started your salads, but lunch will be served shortly. And we're going to keep the program going while you eat, so we do ask that you moderate your voices and your conversations during that time period. But first, I'd like you to help me welcome Reverend Thomas L. Bowen, General Secretary of the Progressive National Baptist Convention, to offer a blessing for our meal.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I rise to bless the food that comes after the salad. Let us pray. Gracious and eternal God, we pause in this moment in a room filled with leaders and thinkers, builders, and believers just to say thank you. Thank you for the gift of this day, for the breath in our bodies, and for the freedom we celebrate, hard-won, long fought, and yet not yet fully realized. We give thanks for being in the same room as the Honorable Eleanor Holmes Norton, who has labored faithfully, spoken boldly, and stood firmly in rooms where we are not. And on this Emancipation Day, this DC Emancipation Day, we remember that freedom did not fall from the sky, did not come via political donors. It rose up through struggle, through the courage of those who dared to believe that bondage was not the final word then and is not the final word now. And so today we gather under the banner of democracy at 250 and beyond, and we thank you not only for how far we have come, but for the holy restlessness that reminds us we still have further to go. And for those who have been told to be seen but not heard, we say today we see you, and you remind us why we must keep on fighting. Now, God, we thank you for this food. Oh, yeah, and for the salad that's been prepared for our nourishment. But we would be remiss if we did not pause long enough to give thanks for the hands that made it possible. For those who rose early this morning while many of us were still sleeping, for those who remain long after we are gone, for those who left their homes and their families so that we might gather at this table, we thank you. We didn't plant it, we didn't pick it, we didn't grow it, we didn't cook it, we don't serve it, but here it is. And so with humility and gratitude we receive it. Bless every hand that touched this meal, from the field to the kitchen, from the truck to the table. And as we eat, oh God, remind us that just as this table has been prepared for us, we are called to prepare a table for others. A table where there is room for every voice, every vote, and every resident of the District of Columbia to be seen, heard, and represented. Make our democracy more like this table, abundant, inclusive, and just. And if the food is especially good today, which we fully expect it to be, we'll give your name the praise, but we'll make sure to compliment the chef. Now bless this food, and bless this fellowship, and bless the work before us. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Please welcome to the stage one of our city's premier choirs, the Heritage Signature Chorale, under the direction of Maestro Stanley Thurston.
Wow, weren't they amazing? Absolutely. Put your hands together. We look forward to hearing more from the Heritage Signet Chorale later in our program. Before we move on, though, we'd like to acknowledge a few special people who are in the audience with us today. When I call your name, I ask that you please stand, and everyone else in the audience, please hold your applause until we get through this list of incredible people. First, we'd like to acknowledge Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, Mayor Muriel Bowser, Chairman Phil Mendelson, Council Member Matt Fruman, Ward 3, Angie Gates, President of Events DC, Dr. Maurice Eddington, President of UDC, Virginia Ali, co-founder of Ben's Chili Bowl, Mrs. Joan Bowser, the first mother of DC, Phil Thomas, Director, Mayor's Office of Community Relations, Lamont Carter, Director, Mayor's Office of Community Affairs, Natalie Snyder, Director, Mayor's Office of Caribbean Affairs, Natasha Dupree, Director, Mayor's Office of Women's Policy and Initiatives, Jim Slattery, Director, Mayor's Office of Messaging, Aaron Myers, Director of the DC Commission of the Arts and Humanities, Director Charles Hall, DC Human Resources, Betsy Cavendish, General Counsel for the Mayor's Office, Sharon Hines, Director, Mayor's Office of Aging and Living, Chris Rodriguez, Assistant City Administrator, Deputy Chief of Staff to the Mayor, Steve Walker, Lindsay Parker, Senior Advisor to the Mayor, Thomas Telemonte, Chief of Staff to the Mayor, Beverly Perry, former Senior Advisor to the Mayor. We'd also like to acknowledge these three members of the DC Statehood Delegation: United States Senator Paul Strauss, United States Senator Ankit Jain, and United States Representative Oye Owolewa. Thank you all so much for being here. We are certainly honored to have you here today. Absolutely. Give everybody a big round of applause. We are also honored to have with us today two emerging leaders. They are both youth mayors, products of the Marion Barry Youth Leadership Institute. Please put your hands together to help me welcome Amira Bunn and Raina Horn.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amira Bunn.
And I'm Raina Horn.
And we are your current 2025-2026 Youth Mayors. Today, we honor and recognize both DC's Emancipation Day and the DC250 celebration. These two moments in history not only remind us how far we have come, but also how far we must still go. Emancipation Day represents resilience, resistance, and the courage of people who demanded freedom even when the system was never built to grant it. And as we reflect on the 250 years of American democracy, we must also acknowledge that full democracy for many Washingtonians has yet to be realized. For generations, this city has stood at the heart of the nation, yet its own residents have had to fight simply to be included. As young people born and raised in this city, our vision for the future of DC is grounded in equality, representation, and opportunity.
We envision a Washington where every resident has full voting rights, meaningful representation, and a voice that is not only heard but valued. A city where access to equal education, safe neighborhoods, affordable housing, and mental health resources are guaranteed. A future where equity, opportunity, and justice are not aspirations, but everyday realities for all. Young people across the city are already organizing, advocating, and leading on public safety, education, climate, and economic opportunity. and so much more. The future of DC is not something we are waiting for. It is something we are actively trying to build right now.
As youth mayors and community leaders, we've learned that leadership is about responsibility. The future of this city must include youth voices because we are not just the leaders of tomorrow, we are the leaders of today.
Our perspectives matter, and our voices must be centered in decisions that shape our lives. So when we talk about democracy at 250 and beyond, we challenge everyone here to consider, what does democracy look like when it is truly inclusive?
What does it look like when young people are not only seen as the future, but recognized as leaders in the present? We are deeply grateful to stand here today surrounded by leaders committed to progress.
And we remain inspired by the dedication of our peers, our community, and everyone across DC who continues to push for a city that is stronger,
freer,
and more just for all. Thank you.
I think they deserve another round of applause. They said they are not only the leaders of the future, but the leaders of today. Amira, Reina, thank you guys so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the first black woman to be elected to 3 terms as mayor of an American city. For more than a decade now, she's led our city with heart, determination, resilience, and an unwavering belief in the people of the district. Under her leadership, Washington, D.C. has experienced historic investments in public safety, education, job creation, public parks, and affordable housing. Of course, I'm speaking about the one and only Mayor Muriel Bowser. Her departure at the end of this year will mark a significant transition in our City Hall. The end of this year will also bring a major transition on Capitol Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to help me welcome DC Mayor Muriel Bowser and Secretary of State Kim Bassett to honor a true champion of our city.
Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton was destined for greatness. She's dedicated her life to fighting for marginalized people in quiet ways, like behind the scenes, but mostly in loud ways, out front and on point. A Dunbar High School alum, she represents the people of Washington, D.C. in the halls of Congress. The seeds of her lengthy career began in student activism. She planned sit-ins, got arrested, and stood up against racism. She's always focused on empowering the powerless, representing the unrepresented, and enforcing the principles of the Constitution for all. Check it. In a case before the U.S. Supreme Court, she argued that despite its message, an anti-integrationist group had the right to assemble, knowing that denying them would deny black people, all people, that very same right. Her career of historic firsts and her uncompromising vision for African Americans, women, and children led her back home to D.C., where she was elected to Congress in 1990. From day one, her grind was making it happen for her people, for her city. Up to $10,000 a year for college tuition, tax credits, home buying programs, more jobs, making it rain in as many ways as she possibly could. And the Congresswoman's defining issue is simple: statehood for D.C.
My service in the Congress has been dedicated to achieving equality for the people I represent, which only statehood can provide.
The Congresswoman says D.C. itself helped foster her activism. She says she was raised in a city of great black consciousness, and she's used that to improve life for everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, your warrior on the Hill, Eleanor Holmes Norton. has served us well on Capitol Hill, and today we celebrate her. Congresswoman Norton, we want to recognize that your service, your story, and your story is inseparable from the story of Washington, D.C. You, a third-generation Washingtonian, you, a graduate of the Paul Laurence Dunbar High School, you, a trailblazer and civil rights icon, you, a daughter of this city, can be summed up in a lot of words, but I like this one: a fighter for Washington. You have never accepted the limits that other people have tried to place on you or us. When the country heard you say, "No, sir, I shall not yield," we knew what you meant. When it comes to fighting for DC, you have never let us down. People, you did it so well, people forget that you didn't have a vote. People forget that DC is not just like them, that you didn't have 2 senators to back you up. People forgot that we're not a state, and despite doing everything that states do, plus more, we didn't have the protection of a governor or a National Guard or the autonomy that comes with statehood. Because of your leadership, thousands of DC students have had access to college through DC Tag. Now, for all these years, Eleanor, it was $10,000, and this year, starting in August, it's $15,000. I think the very first time I introduced you, I don't remember where, I think it was at Donna's house. I said, you know, Eleanor Holmes Norton, when I bought my house in Riggs Park, I got a $5,000 first-time homeowners grant. And I remember I used that $5,000 to buy some new furniture. Thank you, Eleanor. Because of your persistence, we've gotten even closer to statehood. And when people ask me how close are we to statehood, I say this close. And we're this close because Eleanor has led through the Congress 2 votes on statehood in the House of Representatives. We've gotten more sponsors in the United States Senate. We've gotten every person in the DMV delegation, save one, to be co-sponsors of our statehood legislation. And we will get there. We're this close because we just need our fellow Americans to do what they're supposed to do in November and give us the House and give us the Senate. We're this close. Because of your vision and transformative investment, we are bringing to life both of our rivers. Because of your work, the wharf is a destination for residents all up and down the East Coast and the United States of America. Because of your persistence, the iconic Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge connects our neighbors in Maryland to jobs in D.C. and has become a true iconic image of local Washington. And to this date, it is our largest infrastructure investment in the city. Until 2030, when that land at RFK that you helped us get becomes a new neighborhood. Did that. You have always understood that representation is about more than politics. It's about opportunity, dignity, and building a city where people can thrive and have a fair shot. You have represented us well. You have run the race. And like some other of us, you're passing the baton. Eleanor, I just want to say on behalf of 700,000 grateful Washingtonians, job well done. And so we have a tradition in DC government that you get a bowl. And that bowl says, presented with deepest gratitude to Eleanor Holmes Norton, our warrior on the Hill, fearless defender of DC's voice and voting rights.
That was amazing, but there's more. We have a surprise video for you, Congresswoman. Give us a second. Here you go.
Hello, I'm Donna Brazil, and I wanted to say a few words about my good friend, Eleanor Holmes Norton. You see, Eleanor Holmes Norton didn't just open doors. She literally walked through walls. I first met Eleanor when I was young and hungry, ready to change the world. She didn't just help me land a job. She helped me land a job working with Mrs. Coretta Scott King on the historic 1963 anniversary of the March on Washington. I became the mobilization director. Eleanor has given me a model of service. She has been my boss, my mentor, but most importantly, Eleanor has been my North Star. Imagine working on her 1990 campaign, her first political campaign ever. I later served as her chief of staff for over 9 years. And in that time, I watched up close what it looks like when someone fuses a brilliant legal mind with an unbreakable moral spine. Here's what you need to know about Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton. She represented over 700,000 Americans in a Congress without a vote. Think about that. Imagine being handed a microphone, but told it's not plugged in. And then proceeding, as Eleanor did, to make the whole room hear you anyway. That's what Eleanor did for over 35 years. She turned a non-voting seat into a megaphone for democracy, dignity, and DC statehood. She marched with Dr. King. She represented Fannie Lou Hamer. She also was there in Mississippi at a time when people were doing voter registration campaigns. She was there to serve, to work with leaders like Medgar Evers. She later chaired the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. She was a constitutional lawyer long before, a scholar, long before most people even knew what that meant. And then she took all of that, the scholarship, the struggle, the fire, the commitment to democracy and freedom, and she showed up for the district every single day. I have disagreed with Eleanor. I pushed back on Eleanor. And yes, I said to Eleanor, girl, you gotta just pass that torch. You have done so much for us, not just us in DC. You've done so much for women. You've done so much for minorities in this country. You've done so much for all of us. You've led with dignity and spirit. So I just want you all to know how much I respect her, how much I love her, and I know that she's ready to pass the torch. But here's what I want you also to understand about my good friend Eleanor Holmes Norton. No one should ever doubt her legacy. No one should ever doubt her commitment to the residents of the District of Columbia. Eleanor Holmes Norton is living proof that one person, yes, one person in one seat, with no vote, can still be the loudest voice in the room. But that voice, as we all know, is rooted in truth. Washington, D.C., my friends, will one day be a state. And when it is, Congresswoman Norton's name will be written into its foundation. So I just want to say, on behalf of so many of us who have worked for Eleanor, served with Eleanor as her friend, she's been our champion, she's been our warrior, she's been our fighter. But the Hill will be a little less of a battlefield without Eleanor helping to lead the way. So thank you, Congresswoman. We love you. God bless you.
Please welcome back to the stage Mayor Muriel Bowser.
Well, thank you again, and it is always my privilege to acknowledge our Congresswoman, and always my privilege to say thank you to everybody assembled. I want to associate myself with the comments of the chairman of the DC Council, Chairman Phil Mendelson. Give him another round of applause. Phil said it and summed it up perfectly of the challenges that we have experienced that can only be fully addressed by DC becoming the 51st state. I also want to thank and acknowledge the DC Emancipation Day Commission, the DC250 Commission. Please give them a big round of applause. All of our community partners and voting rights organizations that help us spread the word, as well as our young lady youth mayors. Give them a big round of applause for reminding us that our young people are the leaders of today and tomorrow. And of course, our democracy champions. But I hope that you give me a moment of personal privilege as well to acknowledge a member of my team who has represented the district so well. The official title is Secretary of the District, but she is our Secretary of State for Washington, D.C. Kimberly's job is to represent us around the world and lead our international relations. When you come to Washington, D.C., there are 186 nations. And I asked Kimberly not just to make sure that she was handling all of our official protocol functions, but that we were sharing our best practices with ambassadors, visiting mayors, and other officials from around the world. We also started some years ago when all of the mayors are in town in January for the U.S. Conference of Mayors. I began hosting a Welcome to DC reception in the embassies all around the District of Columbia, which has become one of the most sought after convenings of ambassadors and mayors in the nation. We're also in our office, the Secretary's office, responsible for our sister cities. And I think we decided that we're going to make a final sister cities relationship, and we'll keep you posted on that this year as well. So to the entire team, this Secretary of State and my previous Secretaries of State have served the district well. So Kimberly, please stand up and be acknowledged. And they have been acknowledged already, but if you would stand up to all of the members of the Bowser administration and be recognized, please. Thank you. And to a woman who people know now that I've been elected a bunch of times and it may stand out among women mayors, but there was a woman who was the first black woman mayor of a major American city, and we elected her, Mayor Sharon Pratt. And I understand that former council members Brandon Todd and Frank Smith are also here. Please acknowledge them. Thank you, council members. So you've heard me say already that America has a job to do this November. And our job is to remind them that statehood for Washington, D.C. is not just about Washington, D.C. One of the things that I'm very proud of in the last 12 years is that we have shown, yes, that not having statehood affects our autonomy and our lack of representation, but it also affects the ability of a progressive national agenda to become the law of the land. So when our congressperson has a vote and when we have 2 senators, we will have a more perfect union because we will be represented and our progressive values will be represented in the laws of the land. So it is important, even in these difficult times and standoffs, there is something that may be counterintuitive. When we fight with Donald Trump, when Donald Trump says you're Mayor Muriel Bowser in front of a national audience, people begin to know that we're different. They begin to see that we don't control our National Guard. They know that the Congress and the president can fiddle with our budget, even though those are our locally collected dollars. They know that they can change our laws. So these fights, as tough as they may be, they let the world know that the world needs to step in the gap and make sure that Washington, D.C. becomes the 51st state. So when I became mayor, it was our focus to make sure that when the political winds move in the right direction, we would be ready. There was a time fairly recently where we had all 3 houses. We had the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the White House. We did not become the 51st state. We got ready, Beverly and I said, Beverly, we got to get ready because, you know, once Hills gets in there, you know who Hills is, right? Hillary Rodham Clinton. She was the first Democratic nominee to support D.C. statehood. And I said, Bev, once Hills gets in there, we got to be ready. We had a constitutional convention. We wrote a new constitution. We took it to the voters, and 86% of the people said, we want D.C. statehood now. Well, you know what happened? Hills didn't win. But still, we have to get ready because we saw in real time in 1 and 2, you know what I'm going to say, in Trump 1 and Trump 2, what the costs are. So now we are ready. We have our Constitution. We have our boundaries that we have agreed on. We have our coalitions together. We have the DMV supporting us. We have the business community supporting us. And so now it is our charge to never forget when the winds roll our way, and they may soon. We may have the houses again, to demand of our friends to be our friends. and to make DC statehood a priority. It has to happen when we have those winds going in our way in the first 100 days. We have to be willing to say that democracy issues like DC statehood should be carved out of a filibuster. We have to be able to say, if we don't get it the next time, then maybe we didn't care about it that much. We have to demand that our friends be our friends. Are you with me, DC? Now, somebody told me the other day, maybe DC residents, they don't care about home rule that much. I mean, that's what they said. You care about home rule, DC? All right. Because I know one thing. When I pass the torch on January 2nd, I'm going to give it the seal of Washington, D.C. Kimberly and I will pass it off to the next elected mayor of Washington, D.C. So, do you care about home rule, D.C.? Do you care about home rule, D.C.? Act like it.
The nation's capital, Washington, D.C. has always been at the forefront of change in our nation. This was especially true around civil rights. Most notably, Washington, D.C. was the site of the famed March on Washington, which drew over 100,000 Americans to the city to demand jobs and justice. The decisions in Bowling versus Sharp and Hobson versus Hanson helped desegregate public schools nationwide by proving that racially segregated schools were inherently unfair and unconstitutional. As a major center of Black intellectual life, Washington, D.C.'s Howard University played a central role in the fight for civil rights. Both at the university and throughout the nation, students and faculty were active in the push for change. Howard alumnus Stokely Carmichael is noted as making popular the phrase Black Power, a slogan that came to symbolize the later push for civil rights. Howard University professor Charles Hamilton Houston and his law student Thurgood Marshall provided the legal theories that brought down legal segregation in schools and housing. Local organizations such as the Model Inner Cities Community Organization and Pride Incorporated became examples of grassroots organizing. Local leaders helped shape the national movement as well, including Julius Hobson and the Congress of Racial Equality, Marion Barry and the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Walter Fauntroy and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and Willie J. Hardy of the Black United Front. Many entered local government following D.C. Home Rule, infusing it with a spirit of self-determination.
All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Got it right this time. All right, so I just want to check in to see this side of the room. How are you guys doing? Are you enjoying your lunch? Okay, they're a little so-so. People in the middle, are you guys enjoying lunch? Okay, I see you. I see some of my friends there. This side of the room, are you guys enjoying lunch? Okay. I mean, just an incredible presentation today about the push for DC statehood. We heard from our incredible mayor, and we've got some more incredible performances coming up. In fact, remember the amazing chorale that just sang a short time ago? They are joining us once again, so please put your hands together to welcome them as they return to the stage.
every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. They sing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory.
Please welcome our keynote speaker, President and CEO of the National Council of Negro Women, Reverend Siobhan Arline Bradley.
Well, good afternoon. It is an honor to stand before you today in the presence of historic figures like our own Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton. To this amazing mayor, to the leadership of the city, to the friends that I do see in this space, good afternoon. I am a Baptist preacher, but I am in luck for you. I have a flight to catch. And so I will not be before you long. But if I can offer this, I am standing on the shoulders of the one and only Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, who made one of her final homes right here in the District of Columbia. And I bring you greetings on behalf of 633 Pennsylvania Avenue, the only black and woman-owned building on Pennsylvania Avenue. I see Beverly Perry is here. I see folks that are in the audience, folks that have been Ajwa and friends who have been so helpful in the process of our work continuing in the district. And just for a few seconds, if I was preaching, I would take a text, but I'm not preaching. I would offer for you just a thought in this moment, if these streets could talk. If these streets could talk. It is an honor and a responsibility to stand before you today in a city, the Chocolate City, that is not only the seat of American government, but the soul of American resilience. DC is way more than monuments, way more than marble. It is memory. It is movement, and a living testament to what happens when people, especially women, refuse to wait for democracy to include them and instead shape it themselves. The streets of the District of Columbia are like no other. Now, I am a Jersey girl, but my soul is full of DC all in my world. I now have the district to thank, because now when I hear go, go, I'm ready to go too. My son now has lingo that his mother didn't teach him because he's a product of the DMV. It's more than Ben's Chili Bowl. It's more than the beauty of Union Station. It's more than understanding that Southeast is a crown jewel and that Uptown is absolutely like that. And that Chocolate City is not America's dumping ground. Actually, no, it is what I call ground zero. Because the road to freedom started right here. Emancipation before a proclamation. Because if the streets of DC could talk, they would tell you about the blood, the sweat, and tears of our ancestors. If the streets could talk, those of us kissed by the sun would hear a whisper. We just wanted our freedom. Because the land of the free and home of the brave, that message didn't carry the same weight for some of us. Because slavery was legal in the nation's capital. Yes, Washington, D.C., known to be progressive, those sacred streets would say it was a hub for the domestic slave trade. Enslaved people were brought, sold, and held in slave pens. And right outside of the building where we reside at NCNW was a trading block. Enslaved people who dealt with the interesting contradiction that would play out in those streets, a country claiming to value freedom, and yet still advancing a system where I dare say everyone was not free, and today still struggling with that freedom. DC Emancipation was a turning point. 9 months before the Emancipation Proclamation, right here, over 3,000 enslaved people free. And what it did was it showed the federal government that you could legally end slavery and, may I add, activate reparations too. I snuck that in. It pressured border states to consider emancipation. It helped pave the way for the Proclamation and the 13th Amendment. And the truth about Emancipation Day is that what it did was bring black families back together, to reunite and to engage. And look at DC now, walking in the footsteps of those who grace these streets, those that have gone before us and those that are with us right now. Yes, we are the district, Madam Mayor, home of the historic Dunbar High School, first black high school in the United States, established in 1870. That's right. With graduates like Charles Drew and Charles Hamilton Houston and Anna Julia Cooper, but there were some teachers there like Mary Church Terrell, who taught in the Latin department. And distinguished Dunbar alumni have changed our country's history, because there is one, Eleanor Holmes Norton, the honorable lawyer, activist, who went from serving as an organizer for SNCC to having a seat at the House of Representatives, who looked at racism and sexism right in the face and stood 10 toes down. Daughter of the district you are, bold visionary for her people, Congresswoman, we thank you for who you are and what you've done for us. We are the district, home to the Howard University. Where the Divine Nine, 7 of those organizations were founded right there. I hear you, sorors. It is pretty obvious. A university with some of the most prolific legal minds, engineers, doctors, teachers, philanthropists. We are the district, the University of District of Columbia, housing some of the future of our country, educators, leaders. We are the district, home to Lincoln Park, where the statue of Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune stands now 51 years, honoring an icon who would eventually have a home here. And yes, it's still standing, the Council House. But I want to tell you, the Council House is owned by the National Park Service. And every day we fight to ensure that the viability of spaces like George Washington Carver's home are all spaces that will stand until the end of time, where politics will never get in the way of the power of the people. We are the district where the dreams of a civil rights icon came true, because the district houses the only black and woman-owned building on Pennsylvania Avenue that is named after Dorothy Irene Height. And if you really know DC, you know that the Black Family Reunion was essence before its time. And speaking of the essence of leadership, we are the district under a woman who took the helm of a city and became the first black woman mayor to hold 3 terms. A woman who invested a nationwide high $1 billion for affordable housing, advanced the Black Home Ownership Fund, expanded the Mayor's Barry's SYEP to age 24, delivered on a hospital in Ward 8. And my favorite thing was when she clapped back with the Black Lives Matter Plaza. We are the district. And so DC, it's Emancipation Weekend, and let me say, freedom looks good on you. Because I'd be remiss if I don't close with clarity, because I've got 6 minutes to get you out of here. But as a preacher, I must offer this moment. It is difficult living in the district right now, because the realities of this country is that we are being led by someone with minimal morals, someone who does not see everyone for the value that they should be seen. And I'm wanting to offer you this moment right now. I had to recently preach a sermon about a story of the disciples in the boat with Jesus. And in Mark chapter 4, the boat was rocking in a storm. And when the boat was rocking in the storm, the boat was filling up with water, and the disciples were mad because Jesus was sleeping. They thought they were going to die. They thought that this was the end. But what they forgot was that they had the only one who can save them in the boat with them. And what I want to offer to you this afternoon before I catch my flight to the other chocolate city, Chicago. It has a pretty cool black mayor too. I want to say to you that it looks like the boat is sinking. It might feel like it's so rocky that we won't be able to survive, but let me offer you something. There's a Savior in the boat with us right now. There's someone who's standing with us. And the only thing we have to do is ask him, hey, Jesus, it's time for these winds to cease. And the beauty of the story is that the disciples were human. They got mad for a minute. Don't you care that we're about to die? And when Jesus was arisen by the ask, he said very clearly, where is your faith? If you are a DC, then where is your faith? We come from a people that made it out of the cotton fields. We come from a people who have made it through Jim Crow and made it through all of the challenges of our community. And I got a sneaky suspicion that because of the one that's in the boat with us right now, it might feel rocky. But when he says, peace, be still. In November in 2026 of this year, I suspect peace, be still might be coming. And if we are DC, if we are the resilient leaders that have an ancestry like we do, surely we should not be afraid of a storm. And I'd offer to you that when the boat stopped rocking and when he said peace, everything ceased. And I'm asking you, DC, are you ready to stop the storm? Are you ready to slow down what is trying to take us out? Because the real truth about it is your excellence is exposing their mediocrity. And so you are a threat to the face of power in this country because you are bold and beautiful and suntanned too. And the most educated class of people in this country are black women. Fastest growing leaders that were opening their own businesses are black women. And targeted because they understand that once we find 10 cents, we learn how to make $1 million out of it. And so to my sisters in the house, I want you to honor this moment of those women that have come before us, of the Eleanor, Holmes, Nortons, who have paved the way for us. Sisters, we gonna be all right. And I'm here to tell the brothers, don't worry about the myths. We know that brothers and sisters are united because for we know that all things are going to work together for those of us that love God and are called according to his purpose. If these streets could talk, they will say back to us, surely goodness and mercy are going to follow you all the days of your life. And you will dwell in the house of the Lord and freedom forever.
Reverend Arline Bradley, wow. When I woke up this morning, I didn't know I needed what I needed, but God just sent it right there. And I felt that. It was also a reminder of the dynamic women who are in this room, who are leading and guiding our city. I just want to give another shout out. Thank you to all of them. Thank you guys to all of them. Want to acknowledge Allison LaForce. She is Miss District of Columbia, USA. Thank you for being here with us today. And now I want to acknowledge another dynamic woman. Here to issue our final call to action is the woman who was the first woman mayor of the District of Columbia, and a member of the DC250 Commission, the Honorable Sharon Pratt.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know we've come to an animated, wonderful program, and we're going to close it out now. And as Dr. King used to say when they ask him, how long? Not long, not to worry. But before I have a call to action, I do want to underscore what Mayor Bowser said and salute our champion, our warrior on the Hill, who has just done a magnificent job. We're so very proud of her and so thankful to her, Eleanor Holmes Norton. I see that Chairman Mendelson has, I think, just had to leave a little while ago, but I would be remiss if I didn't, before the call of action, thank our mayor. Mayor Bowser, you've done an extraordinary job. I mean, you had to function like a toreador with a raging bull, you know, but you did it beautifully. And it wasn't an enviable position by any means, but you have pulled it off perfectly. Now we are here, yes. So we're here today to reflect on the fact that in 1862, our country made the first step towards ending one of the worst systems of slavery in the history of humankind when Lincoln had the Emancipation Proclamation in Washington, D.C. It wasn't equality, it wasn't entire freedom, but it was an important first step. We're also here, as our young people have reminded us, to anticipate the fact that on July 4th, we will be celebrating 250 years of the very first democracy of its kind in all of humanity. Nobody had ever heard of a we the people government until this country. And now we are celebrating, we hope, in July, 250 years. And I am supposed to give you some kind of call to action. But in order to do so, I think we've got to reflect on where we are today. Yes, we have every right to feel good about the fact that we were the first place to have emancipation, but we do have to recognize where the world is today. We're in a world now, you know, part of what happened as a result of emancipation, what happened as a result of the Civil War, yeah, we had a 13th Amendment, but we also had a 14th Amendment. And the reason we had the 14th Amendment was that the country was unclear about how we're going to coexist with the formerly enslaved. And so the country decided very resoundingly that if you were born in the United States, you were a citizen of the United States. We know that there are those now challenging that. Even though at the time it was about freedom and we had to work hard to have any notions of equality, we live in a world now where if you even think about reflecting on that history, you could be taken to task. DEI is no longer just out of fashion, it's almost criminal. You could lose your federal grants. You could be pursued by the Department of Justice. And as regards citizenship and freedom and democracy, that too is being called into question. How can you have a democracy if in fact you can't express yourself? The very First Amendment, that very First Amendment is about the right to speak, to petition, to assemble. Well, what happened to Good and Pretty? What happened to them when they petitioned and they assembled? What is happening to our fellow citizens now as we have people who are officials who arrive with masks, take them away in the night, and take them to places we don't know? It reminds me of the slave catchers back in the 19th century. So I'm saying to you, we're asking, what is the call to act? How did we get there? As our young people and others have reminded us, we got emancipation because people had the gumption to stand up. We got emancipation and freedom because we had more people who died in the Civil War than have died in any other war. And they were black and they were white. We have a Sumter School in D.C. Well, Sumter was a senator who stood up in the well of the Congress and talked about freedom and talked about emancipation. And a Southerner came to him, Preston Brooks, beat him to an inch of his life. He couldn't return to the Congress for 3 years. That is the sacrifice that was made in order to have emancipation and to have freedom. How did we get to have this great democracy? It wasn't one person. 56 people had to have the gumption and the guts to walk up in Philadelphia and Independence Hall and affix their signature to the Declaration of Independence. And when they did it, it was their death warrant. One man said his hand was shaken, but my spirit does not. The reason that a signature became so important, John Hancock, he did it so enlarged to let the world know, I am committed to this. What is the call to action? Is to remember that we had our freedom and we got our democracy because we, the people, had the gumption and the guts to stand up for it. You cannot be lazy and want democracy. You cannot be lazy and want freedom. So we should take our example from our fellow Americans from Minneapolis, Minnesota. If we're in doubt about what we need to do, they showed us what we need to do. Even in the cold, they stood out there. And I know for some of us, we're getting old. For some of us, we're already old. But there are people I've seen out there on those No King's Day marches. They got their walkers, but they're out there. The power has to be with us. There are no billionaires who are going to care about us. We've got to stand up and be there for us. And what we need to do when there's another march or another moment of challenge is to remember that actor Peter Finch in the movie Network. We got to go to a window, slam it open, and tell the world, I'm mad as hell and I'm not taking it anymore. That's the call to action.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Sharon Pratt, thank you so much. On behalf of our mayor and the city leadership, we want to thank each and every one of you who are joining us today in person. Thank you to all of you who joined us virtually. Now please help me welcome to the stage Reverend Canon Leonard Hamlin, Canon Missioner and Minister of Equity and Inclusion at the Washington National Cathedral, to offer our benediction.
Certainly, as we prepare to leave this place, it is a blessing to assemble one and with together. But let me say, let's be mindful of the fierce urgency of now. And I invite you to join me in this word of prayer and blessing. Gracious, sovereign, and loving God, we thank you on this day for the District of Columbia, a city rich in history, resilience, and sacred struggle, while remembering April 16th, when emancipation came to this city. We honor and give you thanks for those whose prayers, whose labor, whose perseverance helped bend history toward freedom. We thank you for the generations who labored to help design, to build, and strengthen this city. Often with hands denied dignity, yet with spirits that could not be broken. We remember the ancestors. We believe, and they believed, that liberty must be more than an ideal spoken from balconies and in the midst of chambers. It must be lived in the streets, in the homes, in the schools, and in communities. We gather on this day with grateful hearts in this place of history, this place of memory, this place of movement, and this place of meaning. We give you thanks for the founding, for its resilience, for the generations who have walked the streets, who have raised their voices, who believe that within these boundaries, something sacred could take root. They knew this while knowing the pain of limited representation. This city gives service, it gives sacrifice, it gives citizenship, yet continues to lack full democracy. So remind us that freedom delayed is not freedom diminished. Remind us that justice deferred is not fully justice denied. But grant us strength to those who continue to work for self-determination and home rule. Bless now our leaders, our advocates, our organizers, our residents with wisdom, courage, and unity. In moments when outside power feels heavy, when voices are dismissed, when symbols of justice are removed, remind us that truth cannot be erased and dignity can never be legislated away. So while we gather, holding together gratitude and grief, honoring history while telling the truth about injustice, celebrating progress while refusing to be comfortable with partial freedom, strengthen us in this moment. Let this district be more than a place or a point on a map or the backdrop for national power. Let it be known as a living community, a diverse community, a vibrant community, a compassionate community, and a determined community. So bless us now, and let it stand as a witness that the words of this nation are more than ritual and rhetoric, but promises to be fulfilled for all of its people. May this not be a place where vision comes to die, but where justice rises, where bold leadership is born, and where freedom lives and thrives. And when hope feels buried beneath politics, beneath division, beneath delay, remind us that there is a spirit in our lives and a spirit in this city that rises again and again and again, no matter how large the stone may be in front of us. So right now, a spirit carried by those who marched, those who served, and those who prayed, and those who will still believe is a better day is possible is in this room. So help us to honor the past, work faithfully in the present, build the future worthy of sacrifices that have brought us here. Give us strength and vision in this moment, clarity in the midst of confusion, unity without uniformity, and most of all, courage without compromise. In your holy, liberating, and sustaining name we pray. Let's all say amen.
That concludes our program. Thank you for attending the 2026 DC250 Full Democracy Luncheon. Enjoy the rest of your day.
We now return to our previously scheduled program, already in progress.
was walking back to the car. I gave her the car. I started it from. When did you guys start rolling? I had him. Okay, because I had him rehash the beginning again at the end. All right, let me. Well, I gotta walk back to the car.
I called the clerks yesterday.
Give me a few minutes.
I asked them whether a judgment had been entered.